Hi everybody, I'm back with the second video. So the first one was related to this as well, but this one is primarily dedicated not to just the timing of the Great Tribulation, not just to the timing of the season we're in and the possible start of Daniel's 70th week, but has the Antichrist been revealed? And I touched upon that in my last video. And supposedly the Jews are saying that he was, but they're actually keeping it a secret for now, and he might be revealed yet again on their second Passover, possibly on Shavuot, which is Pentecost, or even this fall during Rosh Hashanah. Anyhow, I'm going to include 3 different videos that are on YouTube, and of course, you should go do your own research as well. Of course, these 3 are a little bit more biased towards my particular taste and beliefs. So be as Bereans, as I always say, and do your own homework and test everything. Don't just believe everything that I say. I'm just presenting this as a possibility, and it could be a very prophetic time if this is the case. So, anyways, without further ado, by the way, the most intensive information on this guy's history is in this, I can't even pronounce that, but the Jewish Family Weekly. I'll put down the link to this web page so that you can take a look at it itself, because it's referred to, and I think one key thing to look at in this, I'm trying to find where it's at, but he's currently 32 years old, but he was born in 1988, which means he'll be 33 years old this year at some point. It doesn't say what date, but that's the same age that Christ was when he started his ministry. This guy is half Muslim and half Jewish, but his Muslim background is from Syria. So the Bible states that the Antichrist will be known as the Assyrian, so an Assyrian descendant Jew. They also say that the king of the north is the Antichrist in the book of Daniel. And when the Grecian Empire fell to the Roman Empire, but prior to that, after Alexander the Great died, his 4 generals were spread to the 4 winds of the earth, northeast, south, and west, as I said in my last video. And the king of the north, or the general to the north, was Antiochus Epiphanes IV, which was a type of Antichrist who desecrated the temple at the time and put in a statue of Zeus and slaughtered a pig on the altar. So he was definitely an Antichrist type from the past. And so this guy having the Syrian, and so Syria was to the north of Israel. So that was the portion of the divided kingdom, Grecian kingdom, that Antiochus Epiphanes was over. So there's a lot of interesting factors with this young man, and I think you should keep a watch on him. But I'm presenting these 3 videos, so and please look at others as well to be as Bereans and use discernment to make up your own minds and test everything. Anyways, without further ado, here's the 3 videos.
Hey guys, Evolutron 101, and I'm going to dig deep into this guy right here. This Ben David Jezayahu, he's known by many different names. And this video, the 2 videos I've been putting up, the one is really going viral. It's over 30,000 right now, and that's huge for me, for my channel. And God bless all you guys that are supporting me. But that right there shows how important this topic is. And here is the article right here, and here's the link is up above here. I'll put the link in the description box below. This is called Perfect Harmony, a compelling conversation with Rav Shlomo Yehuda. They call him Yehuda, a gift to the generation. a gift to the generation. And he talks about when they're outside waiting for the Yanuka. And the Yanuka means wonder boy, someone very, very important. They say that somebody like him comes once a generation. And so he is just a young Iveric, yet his Shirim are an attraction to the masses, for all ages and stages, elderly, Shasidim, and all these and everything in between. That right there is very compelling. That right there is very, 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 very compelling. He is attracting the masses. The masses. When he sits on the dais of the packed walls, expounding all parts of Torah by heart, the brim of his hat is just about covering his eyes. And at the same time that he's electrifying the crowd with his depth and breadth, he seems to be melting into himself, erasing his. Wow, this is very telling. So he's a Yanuka, as he's been known since his teenage years. So he's been known like this for since he was a teenager. And also, Hispanic brother put up that this guy here, he traveled to Germany, he traveled to Switzerland, and he traveled to Spain, which that is where the three main places of the Illuminati are those three places. So if he's going to be ordained into the Luciferian Illuminati, Kabbalists, that is the places you have to go. And so he's traveled to those places. His name is Rav Shlomo Yehuda Biri. To most people, he's simply known as Rav Shlomo Yehuda. And although he's not really a Yanuka anymore, he's 32 years old. He's 33 this year. He's still decades younger than many of his followers, aside from the fact that he commands such respect despite his young age. His popularity has skyrocketed, even though he doesn't peddle these things here in mystic deals. His merchandise is pure Torah, all of it, on the tip of his tongue. So this is very, very, this blows me away. This really blows me away about this guy. So here's the article. I'm going to leave the rest for you to read. This is a deep dive into this guy's backstory about him, and it's all right here. So this is a very, very detailed article. My wife found this. God bless her. Thank you, sweetie, for finding that out. And I'm passing it on to you guys. Please read about this guy. And there it is. All right, guys. God bless you. I'll cover you the precious blood of Jesus. Be seeking the face of Yeshua, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, the true coming King. He is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. This guy is the false Christ, the Antichrist coming in place of. And so here he is. That means we're going home soon. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
So, I don't know how it's going to play, but they're trying to make a move here. They're trying to get control of Israel, which is what the ultra-Orthodox have always been trying to do. So I don't know what's going to happen. So anyway, this is what you got going on here. And I'd say, guys, if you look at these videos and you see what's going on, they introduced this guy, took him to the Wailing Wall, which the ultra-Orthodox control, introducing him as Messiah. Other high-ranking, what they call rabbis, are kissing his hand, and they're having him pray by the wall, and they were all listening to him. They show pictures, videos of him teaching the old sages, out of the Bible or the Talmud, whichever it is. So they're taking this very seriously, guys. It just hasn't been released. They're keeping it to themselves. Okay? And it got leaked out. They did it on Passover. They introduced him on Passover. They say he's 33 years old. They're obviously taking a play on the real Messiah, Yeshua. And there you have it. I mean, this is a very, very major event. And we're in the year of redemption. Why not?
בואו תפתחו, תנו לרב לעבור בבקשה. תנו לרב לעבור.
On April 6, 2021, a video leaked out that the Orthodox Jews and rabbis secretly crowned their Messiah, allegedly on Passover, March 27th. The Orthodox Jews tried to conceal the crowning of their Messiah, but it leaked out on April 6, 2021. In one video source that I saw, it was time-stamped April 4th, which begs a lot of questions. Who is this rabbi? Is he really the Messiah? Did he reveal himself on Passover? Many Orthodox Jews are seen kissing him on the hand, but were these people actually worshiping him? Now, first of all, before I answer these questions, let me clarify that when this news first broke, all the sources were in Spanish and Hebrew only, and not being reported on mainstream secular or religious media, including American and Israeli. I also want to clarify that this story, if true, is huge prophetically because of predictions that were made by prominent rabbis in Israel that go way back over 40 years. I had to do some independent research just to get 2 or 3 sources, even discredibility to this shocking development. Now, as the days wore on, there were more developments that included English and speaking video and print media. In my critical analysis, I have concluded that this is a legitimate story to be considered, but it begs a lot of questions that need to be answered. So the first question I want to answer right away is, who is this so-called crowned Messiah? Well, his name is called Jizkiyahu ben David. My first reaction to this name was, why is it spelled with a J? Because there's no J's in Hebrew. The answer is that this man is a Sephardic Jew visiting from Spain. I noticed also that he wears glasses. You mean to tell me that the Messiah wears glasses? I'll explain why in a moment. Now, Jizkiyahu ben David is an only son, born in 1988. Jizkiyahu is Sephardic Hebrew for Hezekiah, which means God strengthens. His paternal grandfather was Shlomo, or Solomon, a great learned man of the Torah of the Sephardic Kabbalist in East Jerusalem. His maternal grandfather was also a rabbi by the name of Yehuda. Now, it is said that his devoted grandmother, Naomi, Shlomo's wife, made special prayers to marry a grandson. So when he was born, she was filled with joy and realized that this child was called for greatness. For his entire life, he has been closely protected. His paternal grandmother wanted her grandson to bear her husband's name, and after her husband died, she saved all of her money and built a synagogue in his name. Now, his mother, however, wanted him to be named after his father, so his real name is Shlomo Yehuda Be'eri. This is problematic because there are at least two different ages that are being reported, Jizkiyahu being 30 and Shlomo being 32. Now, according to one source, he is known as Shlomo Yehudi Beri. He is also called Yanuka, which comes from the Zohar, a mystical book that is studied by all Orthodox Judaism. And the name Yanuka is given to people that from an early age have exceptional Torah abilities. And many people call them by this name because they think this person will become a great Torah scholar. Also by this name, Shlomo, he is 32 years of age, and he is nicknamed Hanoga. By the way, he dresses because he is a Sephardic rabbi born and raised in Israel. As a child, he traveled a lot through Europe and was very poor. He is today famous for being a musician on the keyboard. Now, Shlomo Yehuda Beri is a man with bad eyesight who wears great big glasses to correct it. Critics say that his bad eyesight could be a sign of spiritual blindness, and the glasses are man-made, just like his religion. His age, as I just mentioned, is given as either 30, 32, or 33, depending on who you listen to. Now, he was an IDF soldier, doing that as his service to Israel and not as a career. And from childhood, he only desired to study Kabbalah, and that is what he did. Ultra-Orthodox Jews around the world are calling him Moshiach. These are Chabad Jews, Kabbalistic adherents. This is important to understand. Not all Jews are calling Shlomo Yehudi Beri Moshiach. And remember that the Chabad Jews had a Moshiach in Menachem Mendel Schneerson, who is now dead. And what has made him so famous in the Sephardic world is that he is extremely shy and very humble. He is being lauded as the greatest Torah teacher of all time, according to a recent publication that's called the Daily Zohar, because he has vast Torah knowledge. He can recite most of the Torah from cover to cover, as well as oral law like the Talmud and Zohar, and many other texts known to the Orthodox Jews. He can even recite exact references by page number and paragraph. He's described by many rabbis as a Talmid Hakam, which translated means wise student. It's said that his passion is to bring peace and address poverty. His father had an injury that kept him from working, so that's the reason why he can be identifying with poverty, because he lived it. Now, his passion for the Torah comes from his understanding that ancient rabbis actually cried when they would read the Torah. And so he has this desire to understand the writings and have this sensitivity to learn with tears in the eyes. So the next begging question, is Jizkiyahu, Shlomo, the Messiah? The Orthodox rabbis, as I said earlier, call him Yanakha, which is an Arabic word to mean child prodigy, often used to describe a very young and very bright Talmudic scholar. It is this and other criteria that make the Orthodox leaders consider to be what qualifies this man to be a Messiah. Now, let's take a moment and analyze the two names that are given to this man they consider their Messiah. The name that was given to him by his mother was Jizkiyahu ben David. Jizkiyahu, also known as Hezekiah, means God is my strength. Ben means son. David means beloved. Now remember when Yahushua was given mikvah by John the Immerser, And the voice came from heaven and said, "This is my beloved son." Well, in Hebrew, it would literally mean Ben David. Now, the name that was given to him by his grandmother was Shlomo Yehuda Beri. Shlomo is Hebrew for Solomon, which means peace. Yehuda means God is praised, and Beri means expounder. The rabbis in the Orthodox movement have been expecting their Messiah to come from the house of Judah. He'd be a common man of high understanding. Chizkiyahu, as I said, means God strengthens, or God is my strength. In Scripture, he was the 13th king of Judah and the son of Ahaz. The story is found in 2 Chronicles 29:1. He had a reign of 29 years, which is also found in 2 Kings 20, verse 21. And his name is also found in the genealogy according to the Gospel of Matthew. The Orthodox Jews say that Chizkiyahu qualifies because his paternal descent, so he was anointed. But this Hezekiah, king of Israel, died, so that disqualifies him as a future Messiah, since the Messiah cannot come from the dead, according to Orthodox Judaism. But then the question is, why do they call Chizkiyahu the Messiah? Well, see, they believe the true Messiah will never come a second time. In that case, he would come a second time, then Hezekiah will come, and with great merit, he would become the true Messiah. Therefore, all the qualifications found in the Messiah are found in Shlomo Yehuda, according to the Orthodox Jews. But there are several practical problems that fall short in qualifying him as the true Messiah, and we're going to address those in a moment. Now, before the revelation of this man, the Orthodox Jews called their Messiah, there were a number of events that preceded his crowning. This all began to materialize at the second failed election in Israel on September 17, 2019, that failed to produce a leader and form a government. It was 42 years ago, 1979, a rabbi by the name of Yitzhak Kaduri predicted that this would happen. Some students asked him, "When will the Messiah come?" His short and impromptu answer was, "When there is an election but no government." He also further said that he would not return until Ariel Sharon's death. Sharon was a former prime minister. Now, the only prophetic utterance of Kaduri concerning Ariel Sharon was that their Messiah would not appear until Ariel Sharon had died. Within a little over 2 months after speaking these prophetic words, Ariel Sharon was in a coma, and Kaduri himself died. The Kaduri prophecy did not name a specific time or date in which their Messiah would be revealed, only that it would not happen until after Sharon had died, which was January 11th, 2014. Yitzhak Kaduri in 2007 prophesied a few months before his death that the new Messiah would show himself to the people shortly after Ariel Sharon's death. Kaduri left a note on his deathbed that was to be opened 1 year after his death, January 28, 2006. This note included details of his visions of the Messiah. The note read, "Concerning the letter abbreviation of the Messiah's name, he will lift the people and prove that his word and law are valid. This I have signed in the month of mercy. Yitzhak Kaduri." He added that the name of the Messiah was Yarim Ha'am Ve'yochaya Shedvaro V'Torato Omdim, otherwise known as Yahushua or Yeshua. Some Christians would interpret this to mean that he met the true Messiah, Jesus, because his name in Hebrew is Yeshua, translated to mean salvation. But this would be disregarded as speculative by Orthodox Jews as a messianic fraud. Just because the name was the same word for salvation wouldn't prove it is Jesus, nor would it prove it was the true Messiah. Remember, for Christians, Messianic, and biblical Torah believers, the true Messiah does not return first, but after the false Messiah. Kaduri's final clause was telling his followers that their Messiah would appear shortly after Ariel Sharon's death. What makes this story more compelling to unbelievers is that Kaduri wrote the prophecy while Sharon was happy, healthy, and in office. No hint of stroke, coma, or impending death. Here also is the 42-year-old prophecy given in 1979 by Yitzhak Kaduri regarding the coming Messiah. On the eve of the year 5780, the year of correction, there will be no government in Israel for an extended period, and the various camps will quarrel much without a decision on either side. And then, on Rosh Hashanah itself, they will fight in heaven, the holy side against the side of evil. And God and his entourage, also known as the host of heaven, the cosmic announcement, will decide between them. And this is all I can say. And from here, I swore not to reveal any more secrets and hidden things. The statements by Kaduri also reference excerpts from the ancient book called The Covenant of Persimmon by Kabbalist Rabbi Sasson Chai Shoshani, who Kaduri said was known as the prophet of Egypt. It says, "There will come a day that two ministers win the government in the land of Israel. Both their names will be Benjamin, and neither of them will succeed in establishing their government or kingship. On that day, know and understand that the King Messiah already stands at the doorway, and on the Sabbath afterwards, he will come and be revealed." Shoshani's statement continued, "Understand this and remember it." Well, I didn't understand and remember it until this event happened, and now those words that we'll explain in a moment really mean a lot. Now, in the Talmud, there is quoted reference of disciples of Rabbi Hosea ben Kisma, a Jewish sage in ancient times, who asked him, "When will the Messiah come?" He answered, "I fear lest you demand a sign of me that my answer is correct." They answered him, "We will demand no sign of you." So he answered them, "When this gate falls down, is rebuilt, falls again, and it is again rebuilt, and then falls a third time, before it can be rebuilt, the son of David will come." That's found in the Sanhedrin Tractate 98a. You can Google this too. Now, while in those times it was believed to have been referencing Rome, it seems prophetically that there has been a repeat of history. So we have had 3 prophecies and 3 elections. All 3 elections failed, and now the 4th one seems to be destined to fail as well. Benjamin Netanyahu has been given the task by President Reuven Rivlin to form a government now. But if he fails to form a government with a majority of at least 61 seats, the so-called kingmaker, Naftali Bennett, he could become the next prime minister. Furthermore, President Rivlin's term is up in July. It is very likely that the Knesset could actually vote for Benjamin Netanyahu to become the next president of Israel. Now, if this happens, it's also likely that all of the charges may be null and void because he could actually become immune to all the fraud, corruption, and bribery charges. The third begging question: did he reveal himself as their Messiah on Passover? The shorter answer is maybe yes, maybe no. The videos show these Orthodox crowds with cell phones recording a particular event with them parading, talking, dancing, showing high respect, and even escorting him to a limousine. This is strictly forbidden in the Orthodox communities to use cell phones or even drive cars on the Sabbath or a feast day. I know because I was in an Uber car in the Orthodox neighborhoods on the Sabbath. They don't play, folks. They pounded on my car yelling, "Shabbos, Shabbos," and they were trying to block the intersection. But irregardless, this doesn't mean they could have met possibly in secret on a Sabbath or on a feast day, Messiah, and without cell phones. Now remember the prediction made by Rabbi Sasson Shoshani? Quote, "And on the Sabbath afterwards, he will come and be revealed." Well, one clue as to when all these Orthodox men were seen at the Kotel with their crowned Messiah was a video having the date stamp of April 4, which would have been the day after unleavened bread was over on that Sunday after sunset. In the video, date stamped April 4, 2021, a Hasidim rabbi wearing a fur hat known to be worn by Eastern European Orthodox Jews was filmed giving the blessing holding a siddur for the counting of the Omer for the next 49 days, leading to Shavuot Pentecost, alongside Chizkiyahu, as you can see there on the video. Now the last begging question would be, did the Orthodox Jews and rabbis worship their Messiah? The likely answer is no, for several reasons. First of all, this Messiah has not been announced publicly yet, but could possibly be announced at Pesach Sheni, the second Passover, or Tishri 1, at the blowing of the shofar Yom Teruah, Feast of Trumpets, also known as Rosh Hashanah. Why this detail is important is because though a lot of rabbis are seen greeting this rabbi, it is actually quite normal to see many paying respect. There are many seated, many standing. It's a Jewish custom that the younger must stand and not sit. Many rabbis kissing the hand is actually a Sephardi custom. Some of the Sephardi will shake the hand, bring it to the lips, and let it go and kiss their own hand. On the other hand, Ashkenazi Jews do not kiss the hand of a rabbi. Furthermore, regular Jews don't even worship rabbis. So, is this man Chizkiyahu ben David or Shlomo Yehuda Beri truly their Messiah? Did this man appear secretly as their Messiah on Passover? Is this the guy? Does he come from the lineage of Shlomo Solomon, the Ben David, son of David, that will deceive even the very elect? If he is, then quite possibly this is right on schedule. Hasatan has fallen from heaven, and we are entering the Great Tribulation. But we must keep a close eye on this developing story. Already some other things have happened that could have ties to this event. For example, did you know the Vatican is being accused of digging an illegal tunnel to exhume King David's DNA in order to bring the Messiah back to life? Says a certain rabbi. Well, a group dedicated to protecting Israel's natural resources, called the Regavim Movement, has filed a petition against the Jerusalem municipality. They're demanding action to tear down this church that was constructed without permission. There are fears now that archaeological ancient artifacts. Further, Rabbi Daniel Astor of the Yanar Institute, he claims members of the Catholic Church of the Dormition are involved in this illegal dig. Complicating the matter is that Israel Antiquities Authority, otherwise known as IAA, well, they've been denying this for quite a while, that the passage leading to the tunnel of King David doesn't even exist. So this story actually broke literally one day after the video at the Western Wall surfaced, showing the Orthodox Jews meeting with their crowned Messiah. Could this be a sinister plan to secretly meet with Orthodox leaders to prove that their Messiah has the DNA of King David? Several reports have stated that their crowned Messiah is half Jewish and half Muslim. This is unverified, but if it turns out to be true, this knowledge could play a part in the Sunnis glorifying him as their Mahdi. Now, there's so much more I can say about this, but this is a developing story that I will continue to monitor very closely, especially now that we are approaching Pesach Sheni, the second Passover. The counting of the Omer continues, and the second 40-day marker on May 2nd. We also have Shavuot Pentecost, Israel Independence Day, the 9th of Av, and the Fall Feast, where we could see some major prophetic events take place, starting with Yom Teruah, also known as Rosh Hashanah.
Anyhow, he mentioned several major upcoming dates, which weren't shown that well, but the second Passover will be April 25th through 26th sundown. Shavuot, which is Pentecost, depending on the new moon sighting, should be around the 17th through the 18th of May. And then when Israel became a nation, so Israel's Independence Day was May 14th. So there's a lot of watch days coming up, starting next week with the second Passover, and then around the middle of May. So please be watchful, especially on the dates just named off here and listed. And like he said in the fall, Rosh Hashanah, with this person who may be their anointed Messiah or already has been anointed, but they just haven't publicly announced it yet. But be watchful. So these dates are coming up rapidly. And then finally, the false Messiah comes before the true Messiah, Jesus Christ. But before Christ returns, we must look at 2 Thessalonians 2. It says, "Now, brethren, concerning the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ," in other words, his second coming, and our gathering together with him, the rapture, we ask you not to soon be shaken in mind or troubled, either by spirit or by word or by letter, as from us, as though the day of Christ had come. So the Thessalonians thought Christ might have already come. So Paul came back and clarified. And it says in verse 3, let no one deceive you by any means, for that day will not come. In other words, the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and our gathering to him, the rapture. That day will not come unless the falling away comes first, in other words, the apostasy, and the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he sits as God in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Now, I don't know if it's just the revealing of the Son of Man. We already know the apostasy has pretty much occurred. And it says, and the Son of Man revealed. So on April 4th, right after Passover on March 27th of this year, Israel is pretty much proclaiming that their Messiah has come and was revealed. I was saying that I don't know if we have to see that their third temple is built and that he sits in the temple until we have this 100% confirmation, or just that the apostasy and the Son of Man is revealed firstly, and then Christ and our gathering to him occurs per 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Again, please be as Bereans and keep watch on those dates that were listed. And there's a lot of stuff that is going on currently, even with the Syrian attack on Israel, and this person coming in at the time of Passover. And so Israel might actually exclaim him as their Messiah. So if that's the case, then you know that the true Messiah is not too far behind that, Jesus Christ. So please be watchful. Please be as Bereans and pray on this and test this information. And there's other videos out there as well. I put out one before this, but there's other people's videos as well on YouTube. So please test this information and discern it for yourselves. Anyways, I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope this information, which I think is very critical, the timing is quite critical as well, if this is in fact the case. So this would be very prophetic and very interesting times that we live in, and would be the soon return of Christ. Anyways, I'll talk to you soon, and take care.